Welcome to Indie Break, the show that breaks down independent artists' careers, the moves they made, and why they made those moves. Welcome back to another episode of Indie Break, where I like to talk to independent artists, professionals, anybody with a talent that has made it by themselves. And today I have one of my favorite people in the studio with me, my guy Gremlin. What's going down?
Yo, what is up, brother? Thank you for having me, man.
Of course. So yeah, when it comes to this independent music stuff, you've been at it for a good amount of time. When did you start?
Man, I think I filmed my first music video in like 2011.
Okay.
But I was just kind of doing it for fun here and there. But then like 5 years go by, maybe 6, and I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'm really gonna try, and it ended up popping off.
Right. So for those 5 years, were you consistently doing things, or were you kind of just like, it's whatever? Because you shot a music video that's 11 years ago. Music video 11 years ago, but you didn't take it serious. So what kind of happened in those 5 years between when you first shot a video to when you started really taking it serious?
Okay, you know what? I lied. I was taking it serious, but
okay.
I wasn't. There was no consistency in anything, right? Because it was like you think you're like super good, so like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking let everyone hear me once a year or some stupid shit,
right?
Once every 4 months, and like it just didn't work. I guess, right?
Got you. Okay, so you learned real quick that you got to be consistent for this to work.
Well, it took like 5 years, but eventually,
right.
eventually, I was like, okay, something's missing here. Let me just fucking put out a song every month or some shit and see what happens.
Got you. So would you say that, because from the outside looking in, it seems like your brand is super cohesive. Has that been something from the jump? Like, has your music always kind of stayed in the lane that it's in now, or would you say that it's evolved a lot?
You mean like the sad boy music?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the name, I guess. No, man, I think I think for like most artists, you kind of just experiment a lot. Like early on, it was fast rap, like Eminem, just trying to be super hard,
okay,
and like lyrical and just a lot of aggression and anger that doesn't need to happen, but I was doing it, and then I started making more sad stuff, and that started connecting with people. So I'm like, not sad stuff, but like more emotional music, right?
Right.
And then I was like, okay, so this is working better. I guess me being 5'3" and being aggressive is not matching with me. So let me be myself.
Right. Okay.
Kinda, I guess. Not to say that I'm sad all the time, but
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So so the sad music connected, and obviously you made a sad song without knowing that it was going to connect. When you made that song, what was this? What was the first song? Do you know the first sad song that you dropped?
I think the first sad song I ever made was called Real Talk. And that one was like a breakup song.
Okay.
And what's funny is that was my only song back in the day that really popped off, but I wasn't smart enough at the time to consistently do it. I was just, okay, cool, that one did well. Let me go make some more angry music.
Right. Now back to this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Instead of being consistent with that.
Exactly. But, looking back on it and seeing what momentum does and this and that, if I would have doubled down on that, I'd probably be way farther, like 10 times farther than I am now.
Right. And faster.
And faster, for
right.
sure, because finding the sound and finding what connects with people is what, is what it's all about.
So within doing that, like you said a minute ago, you're being true to yourself, obviously, but you're not sad all the time.
Not all the time. Not when I'm having the Zachary Daiquiri.
You know what I'm saying? Not when you're sipping a Zachary Daiquiri on a Wednesday, hungover from the night before. Do you feel like making this style of music has an effect on your personal life? Like, do you feel like you have to experience and go through sad things in order to make the type of music that your fans want from you?
Like, do I have to actually go through the emotions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, sometimes I like tell other people's stories. But for the most part, it is mine.
Yeah.
Like most of it is like from breakups or from when I was really trying my best to make it or make a lot of money, but it wasn't working, and I was just sad, and I was like, "Fuck, man, this shit isn't working."
Right.
So then the sad music was coming from that emotion.
Right.
Like,
you're tapping back into previous emotions.
Right.
In your new music, you still could be talking about something that happened 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like when I sit down and I write something extremely like just vulnerable, I'm like, okay, this is from the past. I'm not trying to write something about my future,
right.
because like the whole what's it called, manifesting or whatever. It's like, this is not about my future. This is not about it. It's about me.
Something that you've been through and that you've got through.
Right. Yes.
Right. So it's almost reflecting more so than talking about a current moment. It's more so reflecting on things that have happened in the past.
Correct.
That's dope. That's dope. Take me through your writing process. Like when you write your music, obviously, where does it come from, and like how do you write? Like everybody kind of has a different process.
Man, I truthfully hate fucking writing.
Interesting.
Like I know you can write like crazy. You write a song in fucking 2 minutes.
Right.
Since I can remember, I don't know if I have ADD or ADD. I have to have something. Something's wrong with me. 100%. 100%. In high school, it took me a month to write one verse, which is 16 bars. Okay. I was in high school, fucking ridiculous. So, but like I can't sit down and do it. It's like almost impossible. I don't think I've ever went in a studio session and wrote. I can't do that.
Right.
So I sort of spaced it out a long time to like give so much energy, because sitting down takes a lot of energy from me, and I just get drained.
Literally sitting down.
Literally sitting down.
Right now you're sitting down.
There's no way.
Just mad energy being drained right now.
No. No, I mean like trying to focus on like this task. I cannot focus for the life of me.
Got you.
For the life of me.
So you have to move around when you write. You got to be in different places doing different things to write a verse?
So I noticed that like, okay, this isn't working. I used to fucking just break my pencils. I'm like, this isn't fucking working. Just throw it. I'm like, dude, like, okay, I can't get in a flow state. It never fucking happens. What the fuck am I to do? Why is this happening?
Okay.
So then I started driving, and then when I started like, driving and then just like thinking of things, I noticed that it flowed a lot better. I guess it's because I'm not so much in my head and I'm like focused on the road or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I found it a lot easier to concentrate while driving. So each verse, especially in this economy, costs a lot because of gas.
Especially in Cali.
Dude, it's fucking $6, bro. We literally
That's
drove
crazy.
past one today. I'm like...
And you can't even get a snack on the road because then you got to buy the bag, too, to put the snack in.
Exactly, dog.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, the writing process is basically driving down PCH or some shit and just... freestyling and then writing, and then at least I have a concept.
So you pull over and then write. You just write while you're driving.
I just and then I record like a voice memo or some shit.
Hard.
I have 2 phones, so one of them I record with.
Mr. 2 phones, talk your shit then. Okay, so he's just out here driving around, coming up with verses. And speaking of driving, it seems like what might have popped you off is driving. The Uber raps. Is that the biggest thing to happen in your career? Is that what started the fame that you have today? Is that a big reason why you have 908,000 subscribers on YouTube?
So, I think, that one was the main one. I don't think I ever had 1 million on anything on YouTube until that. But like I did have things pop off, like the song about my mom and stuff.
Right.
But that one specifically on YouTube, I never understood YouTube, and I was just like, I whatever. And then I did it. And it took like a month and a half, but it fucking started blowing up, and I'm like, "There's no fucking way." And then it was going crazy, and I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, so this is working. This is." And then I pulled from the past thing. Okay, I wasn't consistent back then, but I can be really consistent now, and I went fucking nuts.
Just Uber
the fuck out of everything. Like people see me like, oh, the Uber rapper guy, and I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Which I don't even give a fuck. Like,
right? Yeah,
I don't care.
Same with me. Oh, you're the nerd rap guy. Sure. Yeah. If that's how you discovered me. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. Exactly. I'm not really tripping on that. By the way, I love that nerd stuff. I did it once, and it was so nerve wracking.
You did it?
I did it once. Yeah, I dressed up as a nerd, and I went to go rap to people, and I was shitting bricks.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I haven't done it since because I can't. It's too much.
It's tough.
It's way too tough.
It's tough. Yeah, I feel like you got to have a level of fuck it in your blood. You know what I'm saying? You just got to go up there and be like, fuck it, this is happening.
100%.
I'm doing this right now.
100%.
You do a similar thing with the Uber though.
Yeah,
it's just a little more controlled and not in front of as many people. It's just one person.
Exactly. Sometimes a couple, but mainly it's not 2 people. Mainly it's just like one. Right. One person. But yeah, that's been doing extremely well.
Outside of Uber raps, what have been some other key things to really help your career? You learned your lessons from the first 5 years. You learned consistency, and so boom, this thing takes off. Walk me through what happens next. Your Uber rap gets 1 million views. How does your life kind of change in that moment, and then what happens from the consistency after that?
So after that popped off, I was like, okay, I'm gonna use those to gain momentum for every song I dropped after. So it was like I dropped one, and then the next 2 weeks later, I'm using a song, and I did that consistently for like a year and a half, and then that's how everything really took off. And then now it's like I want to do that again, but it's like it's now I'm like, okay. Then, like, when I was doing it, I was just gunning it. I wasn't thinking. I was just going. I didn't care about Spotify. I didn't care about numbers. I'm like, I'm just going to do this consistently. But my numbers...
For your YouTube. It was more a YouTube
it was more for YouTube, right?
Got you.
And rather than being overall.
Right.
Right? So I was like, okay, this is cool, but this isn't translating to streams, really.
Right.
You know, but then again, I wasn't really doing it well, I guess. But now that I'm being a lot more consistent with both worlds, I think I'm at like 116,000 on Spotify. Finally, I was waiting forever to hit 100,000. I'm like, dude, it fucking got to 990 or 900 wasn't 99,000.
Yeah.
These Zachary Daiquiris. And then it went back down. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, you know. And then we had that conversation. Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what I don't know why it's happening. But now I'm trying to be more consistent in both worlds, and then
you've jumped to 116 pretty, because it was like at 98 I think when I saw you in LA, which was like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago.
I think it was like 89, bro.
89.
I think it was like 89.
89, and now it's at 116.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I can't even pinpoint what the fuck's doing it, honestly.
I think just like you said, the consistency, and when people hear one thing, they're reminded like, oh yeah, I do like this guy, and then they go stream other things.
True, and you still do have people that are like, "Yo, where can I find your songs?" I'm like, "Bro, I literally post it everywhere." Dude.
Yeah,
like, how can you not?
No, fans can be very not the smartest. Fans can do very extremely stupid things, and it's kind of mind-boggling sometimes when you're like, "Yo, how do you not know?"
Yeah.
I think a very dope thing that you touched on is platforms and making sure that you are kind of touching every platform and everything goes together. Like when I dropped my nerd rap, I made sure that the day I dropped it, the prank went on one channel, the music video went on another channel, the song dropped that same day, and everything was pointing to each other, right? Like prank.
You're saying different YouTube channels?
Yeah. So the prank went on Big Daw's channel, and then the music video went on me and my videographer's channel. And so the prank said, go watch the official music video. The music video said, go watch the official prank or go listen to the song. Then the song was the first thing in both of the bios. So in one day, everything cracked. It was like I'm sending people from this page to this page, from this page to this song. And I think that that's the big disconnect that a lot of people have is they might be big on TikTok, but they're not big on Spotify. Right. They might be big on YouTube, but they're not big on Spotify. Or they might be big on Spotify and their YouTube and everything else sucks. Or maybe they can't sell tickets to shows. I think that the biggest part of being good on everything is keeping in mind the ultimate goal, which is for everything to blow, right? Like for your Spotify to get the streams, for people to come to your shows, for people to subscribe to your YouTube, for people to text you, right?
Right. Yes. Great. Yes. Great.
And all this is wrapped up in community, not the texting app community, but building a community.
Right.
And you've built a community of fans that loves you. Because you stand for something, you represent something, you've branded yourself, and you are consistently putting out music that touches the same style of person. I don't know if you're doing it intentionally. It seems like you definitely are. But they're all broken people, right?
Right.
So walk me through, when did Broken People start, and how did that start?
Right. So it went through its phases, right? So like I think the first thing it was called, like years prior to that, it was called Weirdo. And it was with a backwards R.
Yep.
And that was the main thing that I was trying to build, Weirdo. But I was like, I don't know. It wasn't sticking with me. I didn't really drive with it. It was like that for a couple years. And then I made a song called Broken People, and which is one of my favorite songs to this day. And like it didn't pop off like how I thought it would, but I think it's the best song I ever made in my life. Right.
Yeah. My favorite song that I ever put out is like one of my least streamed songs.
Yeah, it like I don't know how that happens.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's the fucking worst.
It'd be like that. Go stream Broken People.
Do it now, please.
Facts.
And after that song popped off, I was like, this is a cool name, right? This is a nice, cool little name. And then I started referring to my audience as Broken People. And at first, I adjusted very quickly because when I was saying, yo, what's up, Broken People, how I enter my YouTube, right? It was a mix of people saying, why are we broken people? So I was like, okay. And I kept saying it, and I'm like, fuck, okay. So it's getting it's getting mixed reviews. So I put the family at the end, and now there's fucking none.
What's up, Broken People Family?
Yes, and it still has the same thing, but it isn't hit as hard.
Yeah, You're not singling them out. You're saying together we're broken people.
Exactly.
Instead of being like, what's up, you broken motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and like looking back on it, I could totally see why some people were like, "What?"
Ain't it crazy how one word can change
Bro,
so much of how someone feels?
It's the fucking craziest shit ever. But as soon as I noticed that, I'm like, okay, so we're building a nice little community here, a family, if you will. And after that, it just sort of just took a mind of its own. You can't really, contain it too much and like put your own little pieces in it. Sometimes it just has to grow and spread its wings and like figure out its own thing.
You have people get broken people tattoos?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
I have a lot of people. Dude, one girl got my face tatted on her, bro.
That's
like
hard.
fucking just my blasted on her arm, and I was like, there is no fucking way that's real. And then I met her in person, super cool girl. And it's me smiling, and I went like that to the tattoo. But it's insane. Like people connect with it so much that they get the tattoo of it.
I think that's like the ultimate form of flattery is when somebody gets your logo or your signature or your face especially
100%,
tattooed on their
dude.
body. Like that's forever. And that just shows that what you're saying in your music and the brand that you've created and the community that you've created is really powerful enough for people to go out there and get it tatted on them. And I think that as an indie artist, that's the most important thing that you could ever do is build that community to where they live, eat, breathe, sleep what you are. You kind of give them an identity. You know, when they don't really know what they are, it's like, yeah, we're Broken People Family, and it's okay.
That's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, so it's almost like joining a gang, but in a better way.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I don't have nobody else, but now I do because I have this. You know? Like that's a big reason why people join gangs, and like music and brands kind of feel the same way. It's like, yo, I want to rep this. I believe in this. I want to be a part of it.
Yep. And I think a lot of artists don't really do that too much.
Yeah, a lot of people are just making music, and a lot of times focused on the wrong things, focused on just their numbers on Spotify or their numbers here or there,
Right.
and then they try to go on tour and nobody comes. You know what I'm saying? Or they try to do something and it doesn't work. Well, it's because you didn't connect with the people. You made a good song, and sure, but people might not even know it's you.
Right.
They just like the song. They might not like you. So I think that what you're doing is definitely something that artists could model their careers after, in the sense of building that community. So congrats to you on that.
Thank you, man.
Definitely major. So you've gone through this journey, blew up from the Uber raps. It got you on TV. Or not that, but one of your songs got you on TV.
Yeah, so the one about my mom got me on Fox News. First, the Orange County's biggest newspaper reached out to me, and they were like, "Oh, we want to write it." Actually, no, you know what? I'm lying. I reached out to them because I was like, "This song is doing so well on Facebook, like 1 million or whatever, right?" I'm like, "Okay, I don't really know what to do from here, but I'm just gonna reach out to a bunch of newspapers, LA Times, and this and that."
Dope.
Come to find out, that's like a press thing. I was just doing it. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, PR.
And I messaged a shit ton of them, and the Orange County Register hit me back. They're like, yeah, let's send a reporter out. So they sent one out, did a story on my mom and I, and I walk into Starbucks and I see my face on the front of the newspaper.
All
and
right.
then from there, I got a message on Facebook from a Fox 11 producer, which I thought was fake at the time. I was like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
And we were on our way to a show in Portland. And I was like, guys, look at this. And they were like, no fucking way, this is a trip. And when I came back from Portland from the show, they came over with the reporter and filmed my mom and I, and then fucking went viral. And then my mom and I went to the store the next day, Target, and some lady kept looking at us. She was like, "Hey, you were on the news last night, right?" And I was like,
Yep.
"Yes, we were."
That's me.
Yeah,
That's
it
what's up.
was insane, bro. It was fucking insane as fuck.
For people that don't know the story, obviously your fans know the story, but for people that don't know, what's kind of the story with your mom, and why was that so big, and how did that land on TV? Like, what's your mom's story?
Yeah, so the song's about, well, I grew up with a mom who was an addict, and she got sober around when I was like 13 or 14 or something like that.
Okay,
and
congrats to her.
yeah, for sure. And I never told that story before, and then I think it was about that time. Like, you know what, I should tell this story because it could probably connect with some people.
Right.
And yeah, it just ended up popping off, being real, talking about my mom as she was, and then now that she's better. It had two sides to it. The first verse was about everything bad, and the second verse was like, okay, now you're sober, let's, and you're doing really well and shit like that.
That's dope. How does she feel when she hears your music?
Oh, biggest fan for sure, man.
Hell yeah.
Biggest fan for sure, bro. She she sees comments and she reaches out to fans. She's like, hey, Mark or Gremlin Mark. She calls me Mark, obviously.
Right.
And she's like, yo, this fan said this. Here's his address. Send him a letter and shit like that. And she just always like on top of it. You know?
Right.
And yeah, she loves hearing my stuff. Like I think she cries like at every song. And then that's how I know it's a good song.
Right. If she cries, you're like, okay, cool, I did something.
Yeah, for sure. If she doesn't, I'm like, okay, Ma, where did I fuck up?
Right. Got to go back to the drawing board and make sure Mom rocks with it.
Exactly.
That's dope. So throughout your career, what would you say? Obviously, you've learned a lot, you've grown a lot, you've built a community. What sort of things do you feel like you've missed out on or you're missing in your career? Just for independent artists watching, if you could fix anything along the journey, what would you have done differently?
What would I have done differently? Paid attention to what's doing well and then stick with it, I think.
So, okay.
Because, I mean, you know, like, I think a lot of artists experiment too much.
Okay.
Rather than just sticking with a lane.
Okay.
Which we were talking about earlier, which, you know, stick with your niche and then later on expand. So I think it would be finding what works and then consistently doing it fucking ridiculous amount of times, just back to back every fucking week, every month or something like that. Just being very consistent in what works and having an eye for what works.
Right. Okay. And that'd be the main thing you would have changed. You would have just done that sooner.
Way sooner.
Right.
Way sooner. Because, yeah, the consistency changed everything.
Facts.
Everything.
Facts. It always does. I guess the hardest part about that, especially with, I think, artists that are multi-talented, is how do you bottle yourself up? Like, how do you contain all the different things that you have and just say, I'm just going to do this one thing? Do you ever struggle with that? Or is it easy for you? Is it easy for you to stay in your lane? Or do you wish, like, sometimes, like, oh, I really want to make this type of song, but I can't because my fans won't like it? Like, do you think about things like that?
All the time. And the song I showed you, the one that you liked, the
banger.
Right? And, like,
banger.
I didn't think it was, right? And then one of the homies was like, yo, it's not it. I'm like, for real? I'm like, all right.
Fucking Edwin.
Fucking Edwin, bro. And, you know, and I'm honestly not even sure how my audience is going to react to that. Right. You know, because we think it's dope because we know what it's like. We know it's technical. The lyrics are cool. The beat sounds cool. But it's like I don't think I've trained my audience to like that from me. And I don't know how they like it. It might be off-putting. Right. But like, why is he so angry now? Or some shit.
It doesn't sound angry.
Or not angry, but like.
But yeah, I feel you.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think that's a hard balance, and for independent artists out there watching, I think it's you have to kind of tiptoe and walk the line a little bit, because I think consistency is key in your lane and in your niche. But also, if you go too far in one direction, then it's very hard to do anything else.
Yeah, you get stuck in a rabbit hole.
So it's kind of like doing that, but every now and then sprinkling and letting them know, like, hey, I can do this thing, and then, okay, back to regularly scheduled programming, right?
You know what? That's what I would change too.
Yeah.
Is doing that. And
doing a little bit more of that throughout the journey?
Yeah, because I think I'm like way in too deep into the sad boy shit, honestly. Like way too deep. Like, yeah. And I'm like, damn.
So I think it's definitely a balance, but consistency is key no matter what. What's next for you? What's next and what's different? How do you feel like you're gonna get to the next level, and what are you gonna do different in this upcoming
the next level?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not even sure what it looks like. I've kind of been winging it at this point, and it just kind of worked. I mean, maybe I tell myself that. Maybe I'm not winging it. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But the next level, I mean, a tour. Right. My first tour ever would be amazing. Dropping an album after 5 years. I think that's something that's long overdue. Is it like, how the fuck have I never toured before? Like, it makes no sense. But then again, COVID fucked it all up. Yeah. But I think a tour album after like 5 years of not doing that, and yeah, I guess just finding more things to do, like Uber raps that are just different, you know, and like
just kind of expanding on everything you've already done, just at a bigger level.
Yeah, I think so.
What's end goal for you? Like, what's your 10 years from now? Is it, and everybody's is different, you know, like for me coming up, I thought I wanted to be super famous. I thought I wanted to be the biggest artist in the world. And then when I started really like diving into the industry, I was like, I definitely don't want to be super famous. Like I definitely just want to be a millionaire. I want to live off my music, and I want to be able to, help people and support my family and friends and then strangers that I've never met. What's kind of like if you had a goal for yourself or a few goals, like what's your dream? What's not your end, but what's your end goal, kind of?
I mean, I would like to. Are you saying just like in career wise or just like?
Yeah, career wise, life wise.
Life wise, I would like to buy my mama farm. That's been on my list since I was like 10, so that has to happen.
Hard.
Yeah, that has to happen. Second thing, I mean, I kept saying this since I was young, but like it probably changed. But like, I would like to have a home in Newport Beach, and a vacation home in Italy. That's what I've been saying for years too. I never been to Italy. I always wanted to.
It's fire.
Career wise, I think that's. I mean, I would like to be. I think I'm on the same thing you are. I mean, but I haven't made $1 million yet.
Soon.
But I definitely want to be more than comfortable doing what I love doing.
Got you. You know, super hard. Yeah, I think that should be everybody's goal going into this. Is just, if you want to do music, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Make sure you love it. Make sure that you are affecting people in a positive way, and make sure that you are providing happiness for yourself and that you are supporting those around you if you can. And at the end of the day, I think happiness is the most important thing. And if you can, you know, build a life for yourself in which you're happy, then that's all that really matters. And so I think when people get into this, instead of wanting to be the most famous artist in the world, it's like, realistically think about, you might be the most famous artist in the world, and that might be what makes you the most happy. But there are also many levels to this and many ways that you can be successful and influence and impact millions of people.
Yeah.
And so I think what you're doing is already really, really dope. I guess to wrap it all up, any last words for the camera? Anything people need to look out for? Where can they find you?
Yeah, Gremlin raps basically everything. Album coming soon.
Sheesh.
Pretty sure it's gonna be called Talking to the Stars.
Sheesh. Exclusive.
Yeah.
Gremlin album Talking to the Stars coming soon.
I love that voice. It's so cool. Yeah, tour soon too.
Boom. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. If you like this video, if you want to hear more, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe. IndieAmplify. It's your boy Futuristic with my guy Gremlin.